I never thought I'd want to lord it over my husband or treat him like a child. But I have. Turns out I'm not the first woman to do this. When God created the first man, Adam, and the first woman, Eve, it was so they'd have a helper to do life with. God recognized that Adam was the only one out of all his creation up to that point who didn't have someone just like him. Eve was human, made in God's image, just like Adam, but she was Adam's complement, a suitable helpmate to go through life with. But a funny thing happened in that utopian existence. The serpent, or Satan, asked some questions that caused the woman, Eve, and then the man, Adam, to question God's goodness. When they bought the lie, God is withholding the best from you, not only did they lose their utopian existence, but they also lost their perfect relationship with each other. Eve began to desire to control her husband and learned the meaning of labor pains. Adam developed a superiority complex, struggled to get enough food for them to eat, and spent more time weeding than harvesting. Now, that's the KDS very loose translation. But I can imagine that things went from a utopian existence to a little bit of squabbling and fighting as soon as they had made that choice. How do we, as women, cross the line from helper to mother when relating to our husband? I'll see if any of these resonate with you. First, take control. Literally part of the curse in the Garden of Eden. God gave women generally the gift of a nurturing mindset. Just ask any mom whose child might be threatened. Mama bear rises. You don't mess with my kids. If my child gets hurt, I'll be the first one there to comfort and stop the pain. Just try and prevent me. When my kids started in organized sports, I'll never forget the first time they got hurt. This mama jumped to her feet and headed toward whatever field of play they were on and took charge. You don't mess with my baby. And when my kids were in their teens, this response wasn't very welcome. I learned to take a deep breath, evaluate how they responded to that injury, and adjust my response accordingly. When warranted, Mama Bear arose. The rest of the time, she held back and let them work it out. But when it comes to your husband, your role in your marriage should provide love, encouragement, honor, and respect to your man. Your job isn't to direct every step the man makes or plan his daily activities. Our husbands fear displeasing us. Therefore, when we step into controlling mode, we feed their fear and stymie their self-confidence. We wound their hearts and souls like no one else could, not even their closest buddies. What about when you see him heading in a direction that you believe only results in harm? I hear you. Talk with him about it like you would your best girlfriend, not at him. Ask open-ended questions. Try to understand what he's thinking. Listen well and politely. Don't make this a contest of wills. The truth is, he will make some decisions that aren't the best and face the results of those decisions, just like you do. Not sure if you desire to control your husband? Listen to how you describe him and your relationship to your friends. Your biting words reflect your heart attitude. Are you a negative Nancy, controlling Carol, or loving Laura? If you are the first or second one, it's time to do some soul searching regarding your relationship with your husband. The second way we can mother our husbands is bossy communication. Mama Bear Rising doesn't give you or me the liberty to speak this way to our man. I told you not to do it that way, but you never listened to me. Never mind, I'll do it myself so it's done right. It's not wise or life-giving to boss around your husband as if he were 3 years old. No, ladies, this is not good. When you find yourself speaking harshly or derogatorily to your husband, it's time to step back and evaluate. What expectations haven't been met? Maybe you feel disconnected from him emotionally and physically. Have you packed your days so full you don't have time to connect with him other than to bark orders? Has he somehow disappointed you and you haven't talked with him about it yet? Listen to your words. Do you speak the same way to your best friend? How about your children, if you have them? Or do you reserve this dangerous communication style for your husband? God clearly tells us that a man would be better off living in the desert than with a quarrelsome, nagging wife in Proverbs 14. Snakes, thirst, and cacti are better companions than a bossy wife. If you're not sure how to break this habit, ask God to change your attitude and words. And if you still need help, reach out for help to a counselor or a coach. The third way we can mother our husbands is to withhold intimacy. Now, this is tricky to navigate, and before we go on, I want to be very clear. If you suffer abuse from your husband or feel your life is in danger, you need to get immediate help. That's not what I'm talking about here. Once I heard a Christian speaker tell a room full of women that until their love cup was full, it was okay to withhold sex. She then related several stories from her marriage where she would have certain criteria her husband had to meet, including honeydew items, before she would enjoy him in the bedroom. They've since divorced. This type of behavior almost smacks of, if you do what mommy says, then you can have a treat. Time together enjoying God-designed sex brings pleasure and fulfillment to each. And God clearly spells out that we aren't to withhold sex from our spouse except by mutual agreement and then for a specified time. If you struggle with physical intimacy, see a Christian counselor who specializes in this area. The key to remember is that sex is a gift designed by God for a husband and wife to enjoy. Read the Song of Songs in the Bible to get a beautiful picture of the healthy love and sex enjoyed by a husband and wife. The point is to seek to bring pleasure to each other in a mutually beneficial way. When it comes to evaluating whether you have a helper or mother relationship with your husband, observe how you relate to him every day. Then ask yourself some questions. How do I want my husband to speak to me? How do I want my husband to show respect for me? What do I do to show my husband I cherish him? What unhealthy expectations might I have? How well do I communicate my thoughts, feelings, and needs to my husband? How well do I listen to my husband express his thoughts, feelings, and needs? Healthy marriage relationships take intentional work. The more we allow other things or people to take precedence over our marriage, the greater our likelihood of dissatisfaction, unmet expectations, and disconnect. Let me throw out a brave coaching moment here. Ask your husband how you mother him and when. Then listen actively to what he says. Together, discuss how you can both move away from these negative relationship patterns. Brainstorm ideas, then pick one or two to implement this week. I know you can do it. If you still need help leaving your mothering tendencies behind, please hop on over to KirstenDSamuel.com and click that blue button. Let's talk and brainstorm how you can honor and respect your husband and not mother him.